So, happy Easter, everybody. This is Bill from Little White Dory, and I'm doing some videoing today to kind of show some of the things that I've done over the past 2 years. Two summers ago, we had a cesspool collapse, which would have been right about this area here. The night before it collapsed, my wife was standing right above it, changing the feed in the feeder, which freaked her out a bit. I kind of laughed, but it didn't happen to me. It didn't happen to her. And so this whole area here had to be torn up and destroyed by bulldozers and excavators. So we put in new trees, a new garden over here. My wife wanted this. We got a vinyl fence. We redid this garden. The ribbon along the driveway here has black-eyed Susans. I planted a rose bush there. We got a rose bush over here. One or two more over here. And I think a little one that's coming up over here someplace. But we were forced into having to do some renovations because of that damage. And it also then extended to the backyard. So here, the next thing I'll talk about is the greenhouse, which you can see is now mounted up on top of the trailer. And I have my styrofoam side panels in. The side panels are used for when and if I want to use the trailer to carry some mulch or topsoil or whatever. It affords me the ability to have a kind of a boxed in area. So this is the sort of southwest side of my house. It's on top of a blacktop driveway, and it's right next to the brown brick of my house. And the brown brick heats up quite a bit during the daytime, and I'm expecting that it'll retain some of that heat and radiate it back for a little while in the evening. But you can see that the greenhouse fits perfectly into the back of this trailer without the sideboards in. Actually, if I pull the sideboards up a little bit, I can push this in and I can put the gate across the back. But for now, I don't need it. And I'm probably going to wind up moving this from this side of the house to this side, which if you look at the area down here, let's see, it's 3 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock, I've got a shadow that's starting across the back, which extends out, later on, this way. But in the morning, the sun comes up from this direction, the east. And before I head over that way, let me show you inside. I did transport my seeds, so I have my starts put inside. Hooey, it's warm in here. And I won't get into, well, I guess I could. This year's interesting stuff is going to be a Lacatino or Lasatino kale, and I've got some dwarf blue kale. The bigger sprouts back there, I believe, are some cucumbers. In the front with the red, I think, are some beets. Radishes are in the front of that section back there. In here, this is where the kale is, and you can see this section is not doing so well. And everything kind of got very leggy. So I'm almost ready to give up on some of these starts. In the back, I can only read it. I have Hungarian peppers, Thai hot peppers. I have 3 different kinds of tomatoes, which are looking like they're doing okay. A little leggy. And then some other stuff in the back I can't quite read. This year, though, and kohlrabi. All right, so my 3 things this year were going to be kohlrabi, the peppers, the kale. I forget what I used in the 3 things I'm growing this year, but I'm trying all of these. I'll find a place somewhere in the backyard. I have a thermometer hanging there so I can get the temperature and humidity, which is going to be way better than where they were in my basement. Even if it gets cold at night, I think I'm going to be better off. So as I come around, I have, we call it this triangle garden, and I've redone it many times, never really came up with something that's a permanent fix. I decided maybe I would put a bird bath here, but for reasons I'll talk about in a few, I don't know, maybe I'm going to eliminate the bird bath. So more of the work that we had done because of the cesspool was kind of over on the side where that Home Depot bucket is where my main sewage line comes out of the house. And it was underneath my carport, which was the driveway originally. So we had to tear that all up. It was kind of ugly, and put in new pipes to get out to the new septic system. In the process, and I apologize for the noise, but we're just a little noisy around here. It's an urban area. this area along here was totally destroyed because of the bobcat that came back here. Everything was torn out, it was leveled, it was re-topsoiled, and which kind of did a lot of different things, but basically started over. On the side of the barn shed, I have some creeping roses, which are doing really well. They really went crazy last year. I was psyched. There's some grapes that I'm training up onto these trellises. This is a lilac that should be the first thing that I get to see. It comes out early. I can see that it's already budding. My arborvitae here is doing well. The three in the front I don't think are doing as well. And that's over here, some more rose bushes. But I plan in here, all along here, to plant vegetables and kale and things that I just want to fill that space. I have a sprinkler system, so it's going to get watered. I have some metal pipes along the front of that door there. That's some conduit that I'm going to hopefully bend and turn some of my garden into little greenhouse or low tunnels. I'm dealing with an issue here that I don't know what the ultimate outcome is going to be. I'm hoping I catch it. But I've got something called scaly leg mites on my chickens. And I'm thinking that the reason to have them is because there's an access to wild birds here that I can't do a whole lot about. But I've been treating them, and we'll see how that works out. But that's why I'm thinking about getting rid of the bird bath. I guess I just don't want to really draw them in. I built a little garden back here, or I should say my wife did, and behind this, as you can see, the chickens are doing their dust bath, because I'm thinking that that's the best thing they can do to help themselves with respects to the mites. The one that's in the back is the one that has it the most, and she is, I would say, starting to slow down because of it. I think it's affecting her feet. She's still laying eggs, or at least recently has. Girls, you're digging my gardens up. Good for you. So I put this temporary fence up. I think I might, let me see if I can come over this way. I think I might run this fence straight across and block off the whole back section here and eventually put more gardens in. We'll see what I wind up with. I don't know. The girls have run in the wintertime to the whole area all along the back here. I set this piece of lattice up, and they've been recently using it quite a bit just to get out of the sun, I guess, and maybe for just some overhead protection. But they're here to dig and cultivate my dirt as best as they feel like they want to, and they're doing a great job. Go Haley. I see her digging like crazy over there. I think she's heading for China or Australia, whichever. I'm not sure which is the opposite here. Simon, if you see any chickens digging up through the ground, it could be Haley. So I moved my camper, which was in this area here. You can see the tire marks, and this will come back fairly quickly. I took it off before it gets to the point where things will be just dead. As you can see, this garden over here, the girls love digging in here. I'm going to redo this garden this year. I'm planning on using the help of a woofer. It's something that I came up with. And I had one person here already. Her name was Chon. She was a Taiwanese woman who was I guess I'm going to call her a chef in training or a line cook for a restaurant called Blue Hill in New York City. Blue Hill Farm, I think it's called. Oh man, these girls are just having fun. Hopefully that's the good thing, that they're at least trying to keep their mites down. I've been treating them with A&D ointment on their feet. As you can see, the white one there is kind of dirty because I got just a little tiny bit on her and it spreads, and then the dirt sticks. But that should clean up in a few weeks. So these 3 beds here are my main 3 beds. I have a sprinkler. You can see the 2 girls in the back there. They're right around the post for the sprinkler head. There's another sprinkler head out here. And I'm planning on hooking them up to drip systems. But I'm hoping to develop this whole back area here so that it's more of a productive garden. In the back of the garage here, I have this Shelter Logic 10 by 20 tent, which I'll say I'm very disappointed. It's not as good a quality as the first one I had. I didn't realize that it wasn't the same until after it was put together, and I'm looking at it and saying, I don't know, it just seems really chintzy. And it was. It was only, I think I paid like 120 bucks for it, so it's not the worst. It could be a lot more expensive, but I think in the future I'm just going to wind up building a shed off the back here somehow. So that's getting a little long here, about 10 minutes, and I'm going to call it quits. It is a beautiful sunny day. It started out kind of gray and dreary, but it ended up with, well, right now it's probably about 60 degrees. Kind of like yesterday, maybe not quite as warm, but the sun is out. The plants are growing. I'm hoping that they're going to keep growing, and we'll see. All right, guys, that's it. That's the update. Bye-bye.